Are you using your Snowfoam incorrectly? Part 2. In this video, I want to talk about the practical applications of using Snowfoam, the actual physical using of it. In the last video, if you haven't already seen it, there's going to be a link up here, but basically that talked about the panel impact ratios, the dilution ratios, and the differences between different Snowfoam lances, showing how some can use more product than others, and that helps to get you a better idea of your individual situation, your individual setup as far as water pressure in your house, your pressure washer, and so on. So if you haven't already checked that out, I really recommend you go and check that one out first. But here, I want to talk about some things that get talked about in comments on videos a lot, about where you should apply it, when you should apply it, how you should apply it, what you should apply it to, who you should... No, that doesn't work. Never mind. Intro! Okay, before we go out there and actually use the Snowfoam, let's talk about dilution ratios very, very quickly. Make sure you are using the right dilution ratio for your particular Snowfoam. Now, generally, 99% of the manufacturers out there that make Snowfoams will give you a dilution ratio as a this to that, 1 part water to, or sorry, 1 part product to 10 parts water. That's a fairly normal, standard dilution ratio, or at least that's the layout they make them in. But some others, now there are only 3 manufacturers off the top of my head that I can think of that actually give you a panel impact ratio. But if they do, you're going to get the best out of your Snowfoam. This particular one is from Garage Therapy, and they mention both. So it says here, directions, 1 part product to 10 parts of water. That is for the general public, the general people that just want to generally use it. But if you have figured out the flow rate, the panel impact ratio of your particular Snowfoam lance, then they mention it here. They do say that for maintenance cleaning, it's not even 1%. It's just 50 mil to 450 mil. That's very, very straightforward there. Medium cleaning is 1%. Heavy cleaning is 2%. And extreme decontamination is 3% panel impact ratio. So it helps you measure out and get the exact right amount of Snowfoam in your lance that you need for your individual setup. That's why they say it in percentages rather than milliliters, because everyone's setup is different. So make sure you've got a good Snowfoam and make sure you are getting the right dilution ratio before you even get out there. There is a misconception that more foam means stronger product, or more of the product, more Snowfoam, more liquid in your bottle means a stronger product on your panel, and therefore it's going to clean even better. But actually, that's not always the case. There are situations where you can mix it up too strong and it won't actually work correctly. They are designed to be diluted in water. They work with water. These are not products that you simply put a spray nozzle on and spray it onto the panel. That's not how it's designed to work. It needs to mix with water. That water needs to go in there to help dilute it, to get it to its usable level of that chemical. So don't just think that you can throw loads in there and make it really strong and it's going to do even more cleaning, because most situations that's not going to be the case. So follow the directions as best you can. Okay, I'm bound to make a fool of myself here. I'm out in my own street filming a video in a lab coat. My neighbours already think I'm weird. This is just going to add to things. I've got 2 foam lances here, both mixed up with Snowfoam at 4% PIR. That means that both of them, what comes out of the end of the nozzle will be 4%, but this is to show you that foam does not always come out exactly the same. It depends on the lance you're using. So I've got 2 very different Snowfoam lances with exactly the same mixture as it would come out at the end. So what hits the car will be the same product mixture, but the foams are going to be different. I'm going to show you that right now, literally switching from one to the other. So let's get going. So what you can see here is the first snow foam applied to the front of the car. That one is thicker, it's clinging for longer. This one at the back, that was applied second, and you can see it's running off really quite quickly. You can see that physically running away there. Whereas this side over here, that is more static. It's still running away, but it's more static, so it's slower. It's clinging for longer. And this is exactly the same mixture on both sides. So whatever hit the panel on both sides is 4% of exactly the same snow foam across the board. And you can see the difference there. So the lance that you use makes a difference. It's not about adding more product, because here I can get thicker foam or more clingy foam compared to this one, and yet everything that hit the panel was exactly the same. So I had to ditch the lab coat because I was getting too many funny looks. I want to talk about the application of the snow foam now. So how we apply snow foam to the car. How do we do it? What's the best way of doing it? There's really weird painters ways of doing it where people just, you know, spray all over the place. Just random squiggles and wiggles. If you want to get the best even coverage, just use overlapping motions. It's like painting a car almost, you know, if you're spray painting, you spray in long straight lines and you overlap as you work your way up the car. So that's what I want to show you here. Then the rinse off is interesting because lots of people have issues with that. But let me go and spray some snow foam onto the car now and show you the way I would do it. Keep in mind, if I'm snow foaming the car, if I've already worked on the car, then what I've done so far is I've washed the wheels. I haven't done it in this case, but let's just say this is the point when I would be snow foaming a car. It's once I have done the wheels. Wheels and tires are clean. I don't need to be spraying snow foam onto the wheels and tires. Just spray it evenly on the car. So let me go and do that now. Now, what you may have noticed from that application was that I started at the bottom and worked my way up. There's a reason for that. You may have seen that the very last of the snow foam that was applied along the top of the car started running down. And that's what we want. We're looking for that because the lowest part of the car is always the dirtiest part of the car because it's closest to the road. So I want the snow foam to concentrate as much as possible and build up on the lower sections of the car rather than on the top. The top is going to be the lightest dirt on here because it's furthest away from the road. Now keep in mind, when you're doing things like the roof and the bonnet, gravity is going to make sure that that snow foam sticks around for a long time. But on the sides of the car, we want as much snow foam to run down as possible to have an impact on any of the dirt, the grime, or anything that's on the side of the car there before we get round to the rinse. Now when it comes to the rinsing, this is where I get lots of stick. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go and rinse this off right now. Let's just pretend for a moment that it's been dwelling for about 5 minutes and it's time to get this snow foam off. Here's where I get lots and lots of comments. Right, so as you can see, I started rinsing that snow foam from the bottom. There's a reason for that. Lots of people say, well, if you do it from the top, then you don't have as much work to do. But I am not just trying to remove this snow foam. What I'm actually doing is by starting at the bottom, I'm not just rinsing it, I'm actually using the pressure washer to push that dirt off the car. the dirt which has been soaked and softened and affected by the detergents in the snow foam. So I want the rest of the snow foam to hang around for as long as possible and continue to eat into dirt and grime as much as possible. So it would be counterintuitive for me to rinse from the top. If I was to do that, this is what it would look like. For the right price. By doing it from the top first, rinsing at the top first, means, first of all, the water drags all the snow foam off. So there's not as much dwell time, and I'm looking for that dwell time. I want as much dwell time as possible for the chemicals to do their thing. But by rinsing from the top, I'm not allowing that dwell time. I also don't have any idea of where I was working and which parts I had pressure rinsed. By starting from the bottom, I left a line roughly showing where I had rinsed and where I hadn't. But by doing it from the top, I can't really tell, so I have to build a mental map in my head of the areas that I have rinsed from. You see, so rinsing from the bottom allows longer dwell time and gives me a visual indicator of where I have been pressure rinsing. Now, as far as cleaning your lance is concerned, best thing to do is simply unscrew your lance bottle from this, leave everything else connected, and spray some water in there. I've switched off the pressure washer here, so I don't need to get loads of high pressure water, and just run some water in there. One thing that's going to do is it's going to let water run through this completely clean without any product. That's going to help wash it out. And then, as far as the pickup assembly is concerned, simply pop it back on there, screw it up, and then run it through with the pressure washer on. And that's going to clean everything out nice and easy. If you want to, you can do it a couple of times. You can make sure that the bottle is completely free of any product at all, so it's just pure clean water, and run it through once or twice. But that helps to keep your snow foam lance working well, stops any clogs, any blockages, any kind of product starting to get gelatinous or start to coagulate at all. So it's a good tip there. All right, let's have the wet versus dry car application. I had some comments that John from the Forensic Detailing channel had done a video about snow foam, showing that a car does not necessarily need to be rinsed first. Now, that's something I've always done. It's sort of a belt and braces approach to things. I want to make sure that as much dirt is off the car as possible before I apply any kind of pre-wash product, to make sure that that product is definitely getting to all of the dirt. It's working in there. It's not being covered up. It's not hindering its performance in any way. John's testing showed that you didn't have to pre-rinse it, but that was on his limited test results with what was really just a bit of road film. I've tried it on different types of situations on my car here and my partner's car, to figure out which is it. Do you need to? Do you not need to? Is it worth it? Really, it's a personal preference. Now, some of the arguments are, well, it's faster, but how much time is it saving you? Pre-rinsing a car shouldn't take you more than a couple of minutes. So if you are really struggling to have those couple of minutes, I can't imagine that you're doing a proper job of washing your car if you are watching the clock all the time. To make sure that you're doing it quickly, I would rather take a bit of extra time and do it right. Now, as far as the whole wet and dry thing, dirt is different in different parts of the world. You know, the weather we have is different. The climate is different. The dirt that I get on my car is going to be different to the makeup of dirt on someone else's car. So I can't really say for sure it's a good thing to argue about. Really, do your own testing and work it out for yourself. I could tell you, go ahead and don't bother pre-rinsing your car, just throw it on there. But honestly, I've seen differences. The differences are minute. And honestly, they've been swinging kind of both ways, but I haven't really seen it to be much of a point, much of a noticeable change for me to change my ways and do anything differently. I am of the mindset to just get as much dirt off the car as possible. So that's where I stand on this one. So if there's anything else you want me to cover, anything you want me to talk about regarding Snowfoam or detailing in any way, and you want me to go into slightly more geeky detail, please do get in touch. But if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. In the meantime though, I've been Science Specky. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.